NABSHOW in Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Ashley Blankenship with InBroadcast. We're here at the 2016 NABSHOW in Las Vegas. Joining me is Dom from id3as.
Hi guys.
And we have Sven from Kontron.
Good afternoon.
Thank you both for being here. First of all, can you just tell us a little bit about the companies, how you're in conjunction with each other?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are a company who's building hardware for many, many years. We are a publicly traded company, and we are also a premier partner of Intel. So everything what we're building is with high availability in mind. Typically, we're coming from a telecom environment, so we know how requirements are dedicated for high availability feature sets. And by working very closely with Intel, we're building platforms and solutions around the telecom environment and the media space. So Intel has discovered about 5 years ago that they can actually utilize some of their specific processor types to do media processing without a dedicated GPU engine dedicated for that specific workload. So we built a platform around media processing with a cluster of up to 18 CPUs in a high-dense platform, combining switching, graphics processing, general purpose CPU and storage as a modular approach. So that's our background. We've been very successful over the last 5 years combined with Intel. We have live deployments today in networks to do cloud TV solutions, for an example. We have a deployment in Europe at Liberty Global, where Liberty Global is using our hardware platform in combination with a streaming application for their Horizon platform, bringing YouTube and Hulu to the Eastern European countries. So we are really a forerunner, working very close with Intel and the technology framework on the hardware level. Now, in order to complete the solution, obviously we need the expertise or the experts for optimizing high availability and workflows in this type of platforms. And that's how we met Dom.
That's where we come in, yeah. So I've had about 20 years playing with streaming technologies. I was just joking with some of the team here that people are still talking about the future of broadcast is IP, but for me it's been sort of a 20-year experience so far looking at streaming and online technologies and so on. id3as is a specialist software company. We focus mainly on live video distribution workflows at scale. We're a relatively small company. We're definitely not public traded, but we deliver quite large applications for clients such as Arqiva in the UK, who deliver the hybrid, both the digital terrestrial television and the hybrid solution, the OTT stuff. We deliver all of that workflow for them. We also deliver the workflow end-to-end for NASDAQ. So if you've watched an investor relations broadcast online, you've probably watched it using our software. We deliver 35,000 live events a year for NASDAQ. So we use an unusual language which has a tradition in telecoms called Erlang, which allows us to give extremely high availability to live workflows, even though they're deployed in most cases on either public cloud or on hardware platforms such as Kontrons. We're big fans of the current trend to bring commodity GPU capability up into server grade technology so that we can do high density transcoding in data centers and help broadcasters who traditionally had to run extremely complex, highly inefficient in terms of energy infrastructures. We're using technology platforms like this to be able to deliver extremely high densities out at the edge of the networks. And
So what's new for both of you at the show? Is there anything specific being highlighted? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we've been working, as I said, very closely with Intel, and over the years, Intel has actually improved the performance. 5 years ago, when we started talking to some of the over-the-top players, or even broadcasting companies who are building hardware around it, they were really purpose-built. They were FPGA-based and really proprietary. But the trend clearly is moving a lot of these functionalities into the cloud, not only for delivery, but also for workflow processing and so on. And therefore, general compute or an x86 architecture is really the way to go. So within the last 5 years, the adoption rate is now actually in the curve to ramp up, to be recognized as one of the valuable solutions. And Intel's newest technology now is actually having an improvement to do media processing for HEVC. It's coming out, so HEVC and 4K is the market trend, and most of the over-the-top players need to be able to deliver this content with the platform we built around that.
And there's a strong trend in the industry at the moment to virtualize the workflow so that you're not building a series of boxes. There's a tradition in the broadcast industry to buy a series of boxes from different vendors and to strap them together with some sticky tape and so on, and then replicate that and nail it all down and hope it never goes wrong. And then obviously in the cloud environment, you don't have that option. So we take a strategy where we try to look at what the broadcaster is trying to do, and we build them one application that's dedicated to that purpose, and to deploy it virtually into the cloud. So if we have a failure because a hard drive fails, or because when you're working at scale with thousands of servers, things inevitably go wrong.
Right.
And what we try to do is achieve high availability, so that if something goes wrong, we accept that, but we rebuild the workflow in a few microseconds, a few milliseconds across the entire public cloud again, or we maybe have two. If one fails, we can use the second one for resilience, and then instantly bring up a third infrastructure so that we're back to full redundancy.
Right. It's always going to be a couple challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest challenge is when you talk about moving applications into the clouds, you don't really have physical access in a short period of time to actually do replacements, right? You need to be really dynamic in order to do it. So it has to be, number one, a seamless transition from a failure point to pass a stream to another resource in the same platform. Because again, you physically are not there to actually replace or replug something new. It's all in the cloud. And that's where the solution from id3as is really the unique solution to actually get this level of independence of the hardware.
So I think one of the stories we've been talking to against our demonstration on the stand, some 2-3 years ago, we had maybe 200 live events running for financial news through Amazon EC2. We were one of the largest live digital media workflows in Amazon. And Amazon EC2 had a catastrophic failure on the East Coast. We had maybe 200 live events running on the East Coast. We repurposed all of the workflows to West Coast, to Tokyo, to Dublin in a matter of microseconds. The end users might have heard a click or seen a small stutter in the video, but the entire workflow was replaced. And we actually only discovered that we'd lost half our infrastructure when we saw in the news the following day that Amazon had died. We looked in the logs and confirmed that we had lost half our infrastructure and replaced that workflow almost instantaneously. From our point of view, everything was working fine.
Right.
I think the Amazon engineers are scratching their heads.
So what can we expect in the future from all of this? I mean, 3 to 5 years from now.
So obviously the trend is, as I said, it's just on the ramp up. You know, we look at the mainstream adoption for this type of architecture, and following the trend on processing technology moving towards the cloud. Intel did an announcement also to have a integration of an Altera FPGA in the Intel architecture, which will also help for some of the future deployments and software solutions we can run on that. But the future is really helping customers to realize the move from a proprietary design into a cloud infrastructure, and this is still to come, so it's the early stages for that.
I think another significant thing that we're going to see is the telcos and the network operators themselves have traditionally been quite passive to the video workflow. They've enabled its delivery at a sort of pipes and wires level, but they haven't participated in transcoding and security and so on. They've largely left that to application developers or CDNs and so on. What we're seeing now is the network operators themselves are starting to deploy compute deep within the network, right down to the very edge, even into the home. And so where traditionally you might have had to do all your video processing in one location and then you just use the network to deliver it to the edge, what we're seeing is a very basic amount of processing is done at the core of the network. And actually, as you start to regionalize the distribution of the data, things like digital ad insertion are being done almost on the doorstep of the end user. And that's really changing the dynamic, so you can regionalize advertising, you can regionalize functionality, you can deliver capability in the home, such as changing the format of the delivery. So you might be targeting a smart TV, but you might have an application on the home gateway which is going to be transcoding the content so that the guy upstairs can watch it on his iPhone and so on. And that's going to bring more efficiency and more scale to these more niche content more niche content models.
Always getting better and more advanced.
Absolutely.
So where can people go to learn more? Are there websites or?
So yeah, the very first thing is if you want to learn about the technology, what Intel is doing, I suggest to go on the Intel website, intel.com. There's something called Intel Media SDK, which is actually a tool set to do development on the same silicon. In terms of the platform itself, Kontron.com is the very first step. Look at communications, you will find the platform as a brand name as SimCloud, and we also have a dedicated website for our little platform, which is www.simcloud.com.
Okay.
And so from our point of view on ideas, our website's relatively simple because we build very focused enterprise solutions for our customers. We avoid having a product. We don't like chasing blue sky ideas that maybe somebody's going to buy or not. We like building solutions in a sort of tailor-made approach that are dedicated to our customers. So there's a couple of case studies on www.id3as.co.uk. But we'd much rather you picked up the phone and talked to us and we understood your needs and developed something specific for you guys.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for talking to us. Have a great show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Sure. I'm Ashley Blankenship with InBroadcast.